We're delving back into the budget mines to dig up 5 cheap Dreamcast games that are still inexpensive to buy and own today. It's been a while since we last looked at the cheapest games available for a Sega console. We've previously looked at the Mega Drive, Master System and Sega Saturn, so I'll link those videos in the description if you'd like to explore more budget Sega games. Obviously the retro market is in constant fluctuation, but as of the time of this video's recording, the next 5 games I'm about to show you are the cheapest Dreamcast games I could find at CEX that aren't sports titles. I always try to avoid sports titles in these videos, as they are normally the games that hold the least value in any console's library, so as a way to avoid just covering 5 football games, this is what I've come up with. Right, let's get to it! Now you'll have to excuse the footage I've recorded for this one, because it did not want to play nicely with the emulator I use. As a result, I've basically only got the attract mode and cutscenes to show you. Regardless, this is Fur Fighters, developed by Bizarre Creations, and this original incarnation was Dreamcast exclusive for a few months before later coming to Windows, and then the PS2 the following year as Fur Fighters Vigo's Revenge. This is a third-person shooter where you play as a bunch of anthropomorphic animals who are trying to rescue their families after they were kidnapped by the mad military dictator General Vigo. The whole game feels more like it was made by Rare, as it uses the same sort of nonsense language that you've heard in Banjo-Kazooie, as well as having a more adult-orientated vibe like Conker's Bad Fur Day, what with all the animals using automatic weaponry. It's a pretty unique little game with big explorative maps that require you to do some puzzle solving. You can also switch between different animals with their own abilities, which can help you reach certain areas that are only accessible by specific characters. It's not exactly an all-time classic or anything, but it's certainly an original little game that leaves an impression. Trick Style is a Dreamcast and PC exclusive racing game from 1999 that isn't a million miles away from the SSX series. Its big selling point is it's a future racing game where you control hoverboard riders. Being developed by Criterion Games, it feels a bit like a dry run for the developer's later 2001 game Airblade, which also lets you ride around on a hoverboard, but has more of an adventure game structure to it instead of focusing on racing. Trick Style has a very unique aesthetic, and it's a great playing game too, with a nice momentum to everything and a satisfying physics model that keeps it all feeling consistent. The game's biggest issue is with the rails that require you to luge onto them to ride them, and the timing is so annoyingly specific that it's really difficult to get a hold of. It's an ability that's very important to master as well, as the courses will require you to use this ability to progress at certain points. Spend some time getting used to the timing and you'll probably have a good time with this unique little futuristic take on racing and extreme sports, but I can also see how certain players would bounce off its finicky controls. It certainly wasn't doing it for me. Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation is the fourth entry in Core Design's original Tomb Raider series. It was originally released on PC and PlayStation in 1999, coming to the Dreamcast in 2000. It also marks a pretty significant conclusion for the story of its protagonist, Lara Croft. This one starts with a tutorial stage where you play as young Lara before you're taken to the real meat of the game, where you have to imprison the Egyptian god Set after accidentally setting him free. The classic Tomb Raider games are a healthy mix of platforming, third-person shooting, and adventuring that feel a little stiff and awkward to come back to, what with their use of tank controls. You can get used to it though, and as long as you're not rushing into every new location and taking your time to explore, find items and master its controls, then you'll have a great time. Also, this title has a pretty significant plot conclusion that I won't spoil, so if you're more familiar with the more modern Tomb Raider games and haven't explored these earlier titles, then I'd say this entry is an important one to play in terms of story. If you like this entry, then there's also another Tomb Raider game on the Dreamcast called Tomb Raider Chronicles, which acts as more of a prequel and is set in events that occur prior to The Last Revelation.
There will be another lever up there. Pull it, and get back down here quickly. The quest is nearly at an end. Now press forward to swing across. Don't let go of action, or you will again be for the plunge.
Choo Choo Rocket was bound to end up on this list, as the game was given away free to Dream Arena subscribers in PAL regions. This simple little puzzle game from 1999 tasks you with guiding mice called choo-choos to their rockets so they can escape before they are eaten by cats called kapu-kapus. You can do this by laying down arrows onto the game boards, and in the single player puzzle mode these arrows are more limited and require you to make use of the environment itself to help guide the choo-choos. The game also has a big multiplayer focus, and while it can be played in 4-player modes locally, it was also a big online game back when the Dreamcast was officially supported. There's a lot of game packed into this package, with a huge amount of puzzles and challenges to work through in single player, in addition to all the multiplayer chaos. This is an iconic Dreamcast game that should be in every Dreamcast owner's collection, and with it still being so cheap to get second hand, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. Essential. Worms Armageddon is the third entry in Team 17's long-running strategic action franchise, where you take it in turns to use a ridiculous amount of weaponry to kill different teams of worms. Often regarded the pinnacle of the series, this entry adds a whole bunch of single-player missions that teach you how to use its various weapons and abilities, before testing your skill with more devious challenges later on. In addition to the new single-player content, we also have all the classic procedurally generated multiplayer deathmatch stuff the franchise is known for. As always, you can customise your teams to your heart's content, and you can still play deathmatches with AI bots if you're on your own, so there's a whole lot of top-tier worming to do here. This entry is so beloved that it also received a remake in 2024 for Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One and Xbox Series consoles, so it's just as accessible today as it was back in 1999. A great game that is only enhanced in multiplayer, and thanks to the Dreamcast's standard 4 controller ports, this is a great one to bust out at parties.
I got your back. Yes, reinforcements. Nutter! Oh dear.
And that's your lot for another Sega Driven video. Thanks as always to our generous Patreon backers who you can see here. If you'd like to join them and gain early access to videos, writing and exclusive Q&A videos, then head on over to patreon.com/SegaDriven and subscribe. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.